right. So, going to be comparing those ratios today. And it's going to be involving word problems. Is how we're going to do it. But before we do that, we're going to go back to the last lesson and we're going to find the unit rate of this here. So remember, unit rate is going to be how much per one thing. So we're going to take our first number divided by our second. So 882 divided by 98 hours will tell you it's going to be 9 deliveries per hour. So we're looking for that per one thing type of a rate. So certain ratio. Now, when it comes to comparing these, we want to know, well, which one is bigger or smaller, or in this, or no, I shouldn't say this case, or could be the case of being the same. So how we're going to do that is this. So the first one here, we are Edward and Desmond are lawyers, and Edward averages 15 civil cases and 12 criminal cases annually. So every year, he's 15 civil, 12 criminal. Desmond then is going to average 10 civil and 8 criminal. So which lawyer has a higher ratio of civil to criminal cases? So we're not necessarily looking which one has more of them. It's which one has the bigger ratio. So if we would start with Edward here, let's call him Ed. He is 15 to 12. Desmond is going to be 10 to 8. So we're going to look at how can we reduce these. So 15 and 12, we could reduce by 3 and get 5 to 4. Desmond could reduce by 2 and get 5 to 4. So in this case, they go down to the same ratio. So in this case, they're going to be equal. They're going to be the same. Okay. So that's how you're going to do these. You're going to write these out. You're going to try to reduce them down to as small as you can and then see which one's got the bigger ratio. So Dean planted 33 marigolds and 45 tulips in his garden. His friend Kendra also has a garden and planted 32 marigolds and 46 tulips. Whose garden has a lower ratio of marigolds to tulips? So again, let's start with Dean. So he's 33 to 45. And Kendra is going to be 32 to 46. So right away I'm looking at this going, well, our numbers are close, but the one seems to be going down with our first number, but up with the second number. So that's what we got to look at here. So 33 and 45. I know I can divide them both by 3, and this would go to 11 and 15. 11's prime, so can't go any lower. 32 and 46. I know I can reduce them by 2. So that would give me 16 to 23. And 23 also prime, so can't go any lower. So we're looking at the ratio of the first one to the second. So here, we're going up 5 for our first numbers. But then we're going up 8 with our second numbers. So difference of 4 versus difference of 7 between our first number and our second number. So as far as the lower ratio goes, here's how we're going to do this. So with your calculator, we're going to do our first number divided by our second number. So this is going to be 0.73. And our second one, we're going to do 16 divided by 23, which is going to be 0.69. Well, we'll call it 0.70. Okay. So you always want to reduce them, but that's only going to help you if it's more obvious. Here, not so obvious with what to do here. So we're looking for the bigger or lower ratio. So if we take our first number divided by our second one, that's going to give us a number, and that'll tell us how close we are. So in other words, out of these 15, we got 11 of them. Out of the 23, we have 16 of them. So 0.70 versus 0.73. So the lower one is actually going to be Kendra. Even though it appears that these have lower numbers, we're looking for the ratio themselves and not always just the lowest or the higher numbers that are in the ratio. Again, of the ratio themselves. So if I come back to here, what I said before was we go from 33 down to 32 and 45 up to 46. So think we're getting one more piece bigger out of our total, but we have one less of them. So that's why we really have more of our total here versus having less of our total, which is why we're smaller to bigger. Okay. Now, yesterday, a Mexican restaurant sold 96 beef tacos and 57 chicken tacos during lunch. During dinner, then they sold 79 beef tacos versus 53 chicken tacos. During which meal did the restaurant sell a lower ratio of beef to chicken tacos? Well, again, so we're going to set this up. So lunch is 96 to 57, and then dinner was 79 to 53. Now, this one here may look a little more obvious of, okay, so we're going down just a little bit with our second one, but we're going to go down a lot with our first one. Now, you may be right. Now, this one here, 57, 53, 79, these are all numbers that I look at this and go, okay, I can't readily reduce this down to make this a nice thing. So I'm going to go straight for my calculator here. So I'm going to do 96 divide 57. So the first number divided by the second one again. And so this would be 1.68. Same thing over here. 79 divided by 53. So 1.49. So which one is the lower ratio of beef to chicken? Well, the dinner is the lower. So back up here to the original. It looked that way, but we can always use your calculator to make sure. Okay. And lastly here, last month the supermarket in Oakdale sold 10,000 boxes of store brand cereal and 6,000 boxes of brand name cereal. This month they sold 9,000 boxes of store brand cereal and 5,000 boxes of brand name cereal. During which month did the supermarket sell a lower ratio of store brand cereal to brand name cereal? So again, we're looking for the lower one. So we're looking at last month. So I'm going to go LM and then this month TM. So last month we were 10,000 to 6,000. This month we are 9,000 to 5,000. So again, big numbers. They're all in the thousands. So right away, I'm going to reduce them down by 1,000 to make them much more manageable to work with. So 10 to 6 versus 9 to 5. Now, 10 to 6, they're both even. So I know I could divide by 2 and get 5 to 3. 9 and 5. 5 is a prime number, so we can't go any lower with that. Now, looking at this here, 9 to 5 versus 5 to 3. Now, this one is much closer in number. So this one here should be the lower one than what this one is. But again, let's use your calculator to make sure. So 5 divided by 3 is going to be 1.67. The other one, 9 divided by 5, be 1.8. So again, which one is the lower ratio? Well, the first one, last month. Okay. So sometimes you can look at them and go, oh yeah, well, 10 to 6 versus 9 to 5, or in other words, 5 to 3. There's, not so much maybe this one, but this one here, a lot closer versus a little further away. It should be the bigger one. But again, take the first number divided by the second, you'll get a decimal, then you'll for surely be able to do it and know that, oh yeah, there's your 1.8, this is our 1.67, clearly this one's smaller. Okay. So, let me know if you have any questions. That is it for this lesson. You can always pan me, email me, send me a message on Google Classroom. Otherwise, you can always rewind and rewatch something if you didn't quite catch something. You can pause it if you need more time to write stuff down. Otherwise, until next time, we'll talk to you later.